right, Kirk. So we're about to hit play on Alien Romulus. What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, so my initial thoughts. So I'm an Aliens fan, Alien and Aliens as a whole fan, and there's more bad ones than there are good ones, and I think everybody will admit to that. So I'm a little bit nervous of the continuation of this story. I just don't know where they can go with it, but I've heard good reviews, so it makes me a little excited for it. So I'd like to see where it goes.
Yeah, I am not a big outer space sci-fi, fan. Listen, Alien and Aliens are the only two in the Alien series that I've seen. They're all right movies. I get a little upset when people, when they call them horror movies. Well, at least Alien, it's more
movies.
Outer space to me. But I literally have no idea what's happened since Alien 2. I don't even remember that. I know Predator was involved at some point. I don't know if he's showing up. I have literally no clue what's going to go on in this movie.
Might be a good thing.
With that said, good review or not, I mean, I'm thinking maybe like a 5.5 is probably what I'm thinking. What are you thinking?
I was right there. I was going to say a 5, actually. So, there's just more bad than the good in this series. So I just don't know if they can land it anymore. So I'm waiting to see.
Well, let's find out if we're right or wrong here on Movies at 7.
Mike, I got one question for you. What time is it?
It's 7 o'clock somewhere. Showtime. Welcome, everybody, to episode 6 of Movies at 7, the weekly podcast where we dissect, rate, and review one film. And this week, we are headed to space for another sequel, Kirk.
Another sequel.
Yes, this is down the conga line. How many aliens are there at this point in time?
Are we including Alien vs. Predators? Or are we just Alien only movies? Because you got Aliens 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you got Prometheus Covenant, and now this one.
This is already too many.
Yeah.
And there's another one coming. But we are talking about 2024's Alien Romulus, which hit streaming not too long ago. So we're still kind of hitting the main stride of this movie. But I have to tell you, I saw Alien and Aliens, and I have not seen another one until Alien Romulus.
I've seen them all, so I can compare and contrast for you. Don't worry.
I'm excited to hear all of it. There's a lot of comparing and contrasting to just Alien and Alien Romulus. But if you are first-time listeners of the podcast, I'm your host, Mike. Always joining me is the other co-host, Kirk here. And we are going to spoil the absolute shit out of Alien Romulus coming up. So if you haven't seen it, this is a fair warning ahead of time, I guess.
It's been out for a few weeks, so I mean, we're not fresh on this one. So you had your chance.
If you add the theater in there, it's been out.
Yeah.
For quite a while now. We're actually late to the party.
2 months on this one, yeah. But it's still relevant, so I felt good about doing this one.
No, I think it's still good. We both wanted to see this, so yes. It's a good movie. So we will be talking all things Alien Romulus coming up here, rate and review, all that good stuff. But before we get into the review, as we always like to start the show, it's our top 7 countdown. And Kirk, what is this week's top 7 countdown?
Yeah, did you hear that little chuckle in his voice? Okay, so we kind of narrowed this one down to a couple things. So this is the top 7 movies with space and or aliens, or the combination of two, or alien. So it's space and or aliens in the movies. So
to break it down, we were going to do sci-fi, but it is just
we're trying to narrow it down just a little bit to be more relevant to Alien Romulus,
because we would have been well off pace of this. So yes, our top 7 is any alien or space and or.
That being said, if we would have just done sci-fi, I don't know if my list would have really changed. It might have if I would have dug in a little deeper, but this is pretty spot on what my list would have been.
I definitely would have changed at least half of this.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I didn't dig too deep into it, so whatever.
But it's because you didn't have to. Right. But Kirk, I'm gonna let you kick us off this week at number 7.
Number 7. All right, so my number 7, and it turns out a little more than half of my movies are from the late 90s. So the late 90s, they pumped out a lot of space and or alien type movies, but this movie is from 1999, and it is one of my favorite comedies of all time, and it is Galaxy Quest. That movie is Tim Allen.
Yes, okay.
Have you seen it?
I have not seen it.
Know
about it.
It is way better than it should be. It's one of those movies you pop on, you're thinking it's going to just be a stupid CBS. It is way better than it should be. It is funny. Alan Rickman's in it. I mean, Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, speaking of aliens. I mean, it is loaded cast. It is crazy funny. It is just a really, really, really good time.
You've almost sold me on going back and rewatching this. Almost, because I'm not going to at this point in time.
You have to.
I might, maybe at some point.
It's an all-time classic.
Well, my number 7 movie
yes.
has Galaxy in it as well. But it is the Guardians of the Galaxy. Not Galaxy of Terror by any means. Go check out our previous podcast and listen to me trash it. But no, Guardians of the Galaxy from 2014. I just thought this was so clever. It was in the Marvel heyday. I got to tell you what really delivers on this movie is the soundtrack. It's just incredible. That you're just vibing throughout the movie. It's funny. The story's good. The characters and acting's excellent.
And Chris Pratt turned himself into a superstar for that movie. He was the goofy guy on Parks and Rec, and suddenly he's a superstar. It was unbelievable. It's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
Especially that first one.
Staying in the mid to late 2000s here, because where else would I be? From 2018 is my number 6 film, and that is the original A Quiet Place. Now, this one, the alien, right, is on Earth, but I was just so blown away by this movie and how it tugs at your heartstrings. Ugh. And we talk about acting again. But great. One of the best. I'm not a huge alien movie person, and this just did it in such a unique way that I was just instantly drawn in.
Yeah, oh yeah, and that made my top 50 all-time horror movie list. And I don't like the look of the alien. I think the aliens look stupid, but I think John Krasinski, Emily Blunt, I think they were excellent. The family dynamic. I thought it was just an excellent movie.
I just want to be adopted by them.
Oh, well, not anymore. It's just, Emily, dad kind of passed.
Well, no, I'm not even saying in the movie. I'm just saying in real life.
In real life, you want to be adopted by Emily Blunt.
I just want to be adopted and still breastfeed. It's all good.
Still, don't we all? All right, so my number 6, staying in the late 90s, we're at 1997. All-time classic space/aliens movie is Starship Troopers.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a good movie.
The satire in this and just the corporatism and just everything about this movie is Doogie Howser's in it. I mean, it's just excellent.
Casper Van Dien, who's like a B movie like legend.
Yes.
This is such a great movie. I didn't think about this one. No spoiler alert here, but this is a great movie.
Starship Troop. I mean, it's one of the more rewatchable movies on the planet, I think. I don't think there's many movies you can put on at any moment and just enjoy it.
Absolutely.
And it's still me. Oh, I remember how this goes. All right, so I'm staying in 1997. So 1997 was a good year,
it's a big year for you.
I've got 3 movies that came out in 1997. So
that was a big space alien year.
Space alien, and 1999 was Galaxy Quest. So my number 5 movie, again, another just action-filled, replayable movie. Chris Tucker, The Fifth Element. I mean, it's just a fun movie to watch. I mean, a lot of these are just fun movies to watch, and I love the sci-fi/space/alien genre, and The Fifth Element is just excellent to me. So.
I mean, people to this day still dress up as Chris Tucker or what's the girl's name? I mean,
Lilu.
nonstop. Yes, from The Fifth Element. So
Multipass Lilu.
It's definitely held up through the test of time. At least
100%. That movie is going to be an all-time. It's the graphics hold up. Everything holds up with that movie. It's funny. I mean, it's just great.
Well, let me give you my number 5, and to one up you, I'm going to 87.
Ooh.
Yes, way back in the
I didn't
past.
even know. I didn't even know if you knew what that was.
I didn't, but I do now. No, so one of my favorite comedies of all time, Mel Brooks, Spaceballs,
Oh,
is
Spaceballs is a great
one
one.
of the greatest movies. Obviously, it is
Yeah.
making fun of Star Wars throughout, but everything about this movie, and we got a part. Spaceballs 2 is happening.
Yeah. Is Mel
So
Brooks doing it?
he is, yes. So it is.
I don't know if you can get away with his Mel Brooksisms because society today is a little different. But I love.
I don't know.
Spaceballs.
He's like 100 years old. I don't think he gives a shit. Like, what are you going to cancel him? Like,
Yeah, touche. But is he actually making the movie or is he just producing the movie?
I don't know. I don't think he's directing it. He's a little too old. Although Clint Eastwood just directed something at like 94, 97 or whatever he is now.
That guy's in hospice directing movies. So
he's laying in a bed doing it. But
Yeah.
so Spaceballs, talk about one-liners and just, I mean,
I see your Schwartz is just as big as mine. Yeah, Spaceballs. I mean, I forgot about Spaceballs. I don't know. That would be a tough one to keep off the list. I kind of forgot about. There's so many great movies, and I kind of forgot about that one. Spaceballs is probably a hard one to keep off the list, but I kind of forgot about it.
It's one of my favorite comedies of all time.
Yeah, as well, it should be. All right, so my number 4.
No, it's my number 4 now.
All right, whatever. I thought you just did 6, 5.
I did 5. Okay. You did 6, 5, and then Kirk, we're gonna get this right one of these weeks. It's gonna be good.
It's not this week.
But coming in at number 4, we just went from one of my favorite comedies to one of my favorite action movies of all time. Coming in at number 4, summer blockbuster from 1996. Ooh. So in that same era, Independence Day.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember going to the theater and seeing this movie at least 4 times. I just kept going back and watching it. Will Smith. This was in the Will Smith heyday. Jeff Goldblum's the shit in this.
This made Will Smith he was already a star from The Fresh Prince and a couple other movies, but this turned him into a mega star. Like, he was one of the biggest actors on the planet at the time. So yes, Independence Day is great. I mean, it's funny, it's action, it's everything. I remember this one. I didn't put it on my top 7, but I love that movie.
It's a great movie.
Yes. All right, so I'm on 4, right? That's what we're doing here.
If you like, I mean, yeah. If you want to do something different, just do whatever you want.
Just keep going. We'll run with it. So mine's from 2005, actually. So this movie is from 2005, and comedy. It's definitely a comedy, but I think it's one of the most intelligent movies I've probably ever seen through a comedy lens. Is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe. I adore that movie.
Most Def action.
Yeah, Most Def. Oh, geez, he's excellent. I mean, there's just so many good actors in this movie. It's well written, it's well directed, it's clever. You can turn it on at any time and just fit right into the universe. It is fantastic. Oh yeah, I'm still going. Yeah, it's still me. It's been a bad.
You generally mess up once a week. I've never seen you mess up on every number
7 times. All right, so I'm back to 1997 actually. So we're at 1997. This one's a little more serious, but I think the content is obviously. I think all these movies are excellent, but it's Contact from 1997. Have you seen Contact?
I haven't, but I remember working at Hollywood Video, and when this movie came out, and we had like a wall of like Contact, DVDs, and they were always sold out, and like everybody's coming in and asking, for like 2-3 weeks. So
everyone I ever talk to either loves or hates this movie. It's very divisive, but it's just such a well thought out, done movie. It makes you question a lot of things, think about a lot of things. Very serious movie. It's not like a comedy like basically all the other ones I've done.
I do have one question before you go further in on this. Is divisive a word? Divisive. Isn't it divisive? Isn't it?
It's potato. It's however you say it.
All right, listen.
Divisive.
I didn't know if that was like Da Vinci was divisive. It's okay. Talk to me about Contact. I apologize.
Yeah, Contact. Yes, Contact's a very long movie. It's it's now the thing with Contact. I adore the movie. It's obviously number 3. It is a little bit harder to just jump in the middle of the one. Like jump into the movie, not like the other movies. But it is a well and very intelligent movie. I just love the movie. It's just really, really good. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. I don't want to get too deep into it because it's near impossible to explain. I mean, they get this code from space and they have to build something, and you have to see the movie. I almost can't even explain it, but
you've done such a wonderful job.
I know. I at least I got the number right. I don't know what else to tell you. So this is your turn because I think I did too. Now it's your two.
Yes. At least you got that right. Now coming in at number 3, it's one of the cheesiest movies of all time, but I have to say this would make my top. This would be in a top 50 movies maybe of all time for me, and I just love this movie, and I can't explain it, but it's from 1998, so apparently there was a premium on these movies here. But I'm talking about Armageddon with Bruce Willis, Liv Tyler, Ben Affleck.
How was that not your number 1? I thought that was going to be your number. I would have bet money that was going to be your number 1.
Listen, I don't want to miss a thing, and I love this movie. I am man enough to admit when Liv Tyler says, "Daddy, no," and puts her hand on the screen, I always tear up. I fucking love this movie with a passion.
Michael Bay at his Michael Bay-ness.
This movie just has it's so funny. The cast is like, it's great. It's just great, but the premise is so dumb, but it's just
so absurd. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the movie too. It's just a turn your brain off, enjoyable ride. But
if it's on TV, I will stop and watch it 100 out of 100 times.
I think most people do. That's the thing. You know what? Before we started this thing, if I would have wrote down your list, that would have been your number. I don't know how that's your number. What was that, number 3 for you? Yes. I don't know how that made it to your number 3. I'm interested in 2 and 1. I would have lost money here.
So number 2, I had it on our top 50 horror movies list. It was in my top 2, I believe, or top 3. Coming in number 2 is The Thing.
Yes.
What year? I don't have that one written down.
1980, 81.
It is I think it's 81. But yeah. I love this movie. I didn't catch on to it later in life. It was actually tough to put this over Armageddon, but I think more recency bias or whatever. But The Thing is just another movie. Once again, it's on all the time, and I always stop and watch it. It's just incredible to me. I love it.
Yeah, The Thing was my number 2 horror movie of all time, and for some reason I didn't even think about it because I'm thinking like, oh, it's in Antarctica,
it's an alien though.
And I didn't.
The spaceship crashed. It's
another one that just I was on like the sci-fi kind of space aliens, and you went horror.
See, you're upset now because this is this is how I felt with Starship Troopers. It's wow.
Yeah, and that's the point of doing these lists, to kind of click over those memories. So, anyways. Still on you. I think what's your number 2? Or that was your number 2?
No, that was my number 2. Yes.
I told you I'm going to mess up 7 times. All right. So my number 2 is from 1989. So at least we're not in the 90s anymore. This one is my only one that is only on the planet Earth, I guess you'd say. We don't go to space on this one. But we go someplace even more vast than space. No, it's not more vast than space. We're going to the ocean, and it is The Abyss. James Cameron's The Abyss. It is an amazing movie about aliens that live at the bottom of the Mariana Trench and make contact with these drillers.
I've never seen this.
I'm telling you, the CGI in 1989 on this movie is better than some of the movies.
This is what we talked about last week. CGI has stepped back.
It's
I don't know why.
Back in time, and they have the alien can control water, and it comes into their sub or their underwater platform thing, and makes fit, and it just looks so excellent. And if you ever want a very interesting documentary, there's tons of them. I don't have one specifically, but the making of The Abyss was basically nightmarish. They almost killed all the actors several times. It is a very, very interesting watch. It is a very, very good movie.
I have to check it out. I know I can see the cover, of the VCR tape, but
it would probably fall in my top 10 all-time movies. It's just an epic of a movie. It's very well done. We're going into number ones. All right, so it's my number one, and then your number one. Is that what we're doing here?
Listen, if you want me to go first with my number one, I have no problem dropping a little number one on you.
I think you know what mine is, since I already kind of teased it up. So mine's from 1980. I swore I'd only do one per franchise, so this is the only one in this franchise, but it is a Star Wars. It is The Empire Strikes Back. It is by far the best Star Wars, and it's not even close. It is probably my number 1, 2, or 3 movie of all time. It is a masterpiece, and it's a sequel to a very good movie, and there's not often that you get the sequel that is far superior than the original. So
I've only seen one Star Wars, which is the very first one from
The Phantom Menace.
No, not like, I guess number 4 or whatever, but the first one ever made.
Yeah.
And I fell asleep about 14 times through it. Once again, it's a me thing. It's not a Star Wars thing. I am not coming at the Star Wars group. You guys are better than me. I'm just, it's just not me. So
the first one kind of like sets the world up a little bit. The second one it's just really, really good, especially the ending. It puts you in such a weird place. And then Return of the Jedi, I think I did that as part of my number 3. So for Terrifier 3, we did the best third movie, and Return of the Jedi was one of my ones up there. So,
well,
but what is your number one? What beat Armageddon and The Thing?
It's another space movie. At any given time, this is either my no Alien, but this is either my favorite movie or my second favorite movie, maybe of all time. It's from 2015, The Martian.
That's a very good movie.
I love this movie. Matt Damon, obviously you got Jessica Chastain. I mean, there's a lot of great, Jeff Daniels, and there's nothing bad I can say about this movie. I've had people come at me and be, but it's not realistic and this and that. It's a movie. I don't, I love, and this is like a 2-hour, 20-minute movie, and I could watch this over and over. It has another really good soundtrack on this one as well. I love this movie with a passion.
It's just an easy watch. It's very entertainment. It's held up by one person. It's interesting. It's something's always kind of happening, good and or bad. It's just a well done movie.
I love it. Like I said, at any given time, it might be my favorite movie of all time at this point in time. Yeah. But a lot of times it's number 2 behind a different one. But that's how much I love this movie, and it caught me off guard. Like I said, it's only 9 years old. It was just like. Wasn't a lot of hoopla around it.
That was another movie that was extremely surprising on how good it was. Like, I popped it on. I don't even go see this in a theater. I was just like, The Martian. I've been wanting to see this. Threw it on, and I was surprised on how good it is.
That's exactly how it's just one night, just popped it on and was like glued. Like, oh my God.
Not to do honorable mentions, but another one that's kind of like that's Moon. If you've ever seen Moon, it's
yes.
That's that was going to be number 8, but after your list, it'd probably be like 9 or 10. Yeah, there's a couple movies I wish I would have stole.
Moon is written down for me. Sam Rockwell's incredible.
Oh yeah, Sam Rockwell's in Galaxy Quest too.
Yep,
so.
Yep. That is right.
And The Hitchhiker's Guide. Dang, he's in a couple of these. Excellent movies. Yeah, all these movies are great. They're fun to watch.
Wait, did we didn't have a single movie?
No, we had 0 repeats, and I think
that
we
overlapped, and I think that's incredible.
We had 14 really good movies, I think. You haven't seen a lot of the ones on my list, but that being said, you watch them. They're iconic movies, so I mean, I think you'd like them. But
I just find it amazing.
Yeah, we don't get that very often.
This is still niche. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's still a lot of movies, but it's niche. And to not have any of the same movies is pretty incredible.
And I'm mad at myself at a couple of yours, and you're kind of mad at myself.
I'm mad at a couple of yours.
Yeah, so we'll get there.
It's all good. You put Star Wars number 1, that gets that crowd off our back. So it's good.
I kind of wanted to not put Star Wars on there just because it was so cliche. I love but the movie's just too good. I couldn't.
Yeah, but if it's one of your favorite movies, it's one of your favorite movies.
It's probably 1, 2, or 3. I don't
like. I thought you were gonna give me a lot more shit on Armageddon because
But I already knew that story. I already knew that story. I knew. Before you said space, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna get Armageddon. Here it comes." I should have texted to you and just held off on send or something like that.
100%.
But I would have been wrong because I thought that was going to be number one.
Yeah, close. It's close.
Yeah.
But all right, so that is our top 7 for this week. You can always let us know who had the better list or who would make your top 7 alien space movies at one of our social media ways. Just search Movies at 7 and just slap it in one of them. I don't know. We'll see it in there. But Kirk, I think you want to do a little Romulus action?
Let's do this.
Warning. The following footage may cause irrational excitement.
Welcome back, and Alien Romulus is the movie of the week, or part 17 of the Alien franchise. But this first time watch, obviously, for both of us. We wanted to see this. We kind of talked earlier about what we thought this was going to be. So now it's time to see where we kind of landed. But Kirk, before we can do that, I got a question for you.
What's in the box?
Yeah, I think the box on this one is looking at the alien cocoon here, so don't look in this box. But Alien Romulus is a 2024 science fiction horror film directed by Fede Alvarez and also written by Alvarez and Rodo Segrias. I guess that's how you say his name. Produced by Scott Free Productions and Brandywine Productions. As part of the Alien franchise, obviously, this one's set in between Alien and Alien. So on the timeline, this is after Alien and before Aliens. The film grossed, so there you go. So the film grossed over $350 million to date worldwide on a budget of $80 million. So it had a very large budget, but I think it's already in the money. And it's received mostly positive reviews. So IMDb's got this at a 7.2. Rotten Tomatoes, not that we like that too much, is 80%. A little paid for advertising there. But with many calling this the best Alien since Alien and Aliens, we'll find out if we agree. I think you've seen both of those at least.
Yes.
Critics has praised the performances as well as the visual and practical effects, but they've been very critical at some of the CGI, including the late Ian Holmes. So we'll get into all of that here very soon, but people have liked this movie.
Well, listen, let's get into it now, Kirk. And for our rating system, Movies at 7 likes to use a 0 to 10 rating, where the higher up the list you go, the better the score. We rate amongst 5 categories, and at the end, it gives us one composite score, I guess, between the two of us. And as we always like to start, category 1, story beats. What does that mean?
Yeah, story beats is exactly what you think it's going to be. So obviously your story, your concept, the 3 acts, what the connecting pieces between those 3 acts, just everything that makes this thing flow. And I think I'm going to go first on this one because I'm going to be pretty hard on this story. And I'm going to be pretty hard on this story, not because I didn't like it. I actually did like this story. I thought it was pretty good. I just think they set up a lot of very interesting things, and they took the safe direction every single decision they made, which was frustrating to me. It's like they set up a really cool character, and then they'd be like, let's go back and save them. Let's set up this one alien hunting us. Let's just throw up a whole... They kept taking the least of the entry angles, and it didn't make the movie mad. It just, there was a better pathway to take. I just kept seeing.
Yeah. So, I mean, this one is basically based around a group of kids that are trying to get off this planet to a different planet.
They're working for the Weyland-Yutani mining company on a far off planet, and basically you're slave to that company.
And their parents died of cancer, in essence, from the mining.
So they're in debt.
So there's they find a spaceship above them that has more cooling, whatever that allows cryo chambers, so they could sleep and make it to this other planet because it's going to take hundreds of years or whatever it is. I don't know.
It was like 9.5. It was like 9.5 light years it was going to take, but the ship that they had, they couldn't just fly it that long because you can't fly 9.5 light years. It takes many, 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 many years to go that far.
Yeah. So, and the ship that's above is the original ship from Alien. And that's the ship that is.
It's not the original ship. It's a scientific ship, Weyland-Yutani. Because the original one was a hauler. So they took the alien's body off the original one and got its DNA. I kind of looked into this movie a little bit. So they got its DNA, and this is kind of where they started masterminding the other.
How did Ash get on there? I guess I don't know. That's why. I just assumed it was...
Ash is a cyborg, but it's a commonly used type cyborg.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I gotcha. So that makes sense. All right, I thought it was the original one just because of that.
I guess it could have been the original one that they just pulled the body off, but.
Well, the body was already cut in half, just like his was, and had the white on the face. So I assumed it was
the white is their
one.
blood, yeah. But they were in a hauler, is what it was. And this wasn't. If they're saying this is the same ship, which I haven't seen that, but it does. I'm kind of an Alien fan, so it's a big.
I just assumed it was because of the shape that guy was in.
Probably a lot of people do, but they talked about the Space Marines killing the aliens and. Then it ripping. That's not how they got the first alien to die. Remember, she flushed it out of the hull.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is a different ship, but it was after original Alien. But I think it just had a repeat Ian Holmes, who was the cyborg.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I don't hate the story. I like the reasoning. You know what I mean? Like I still find it really weird that in this futuristic world, they just have a spaceship and they can just travel up into space without any regulations or whatever when it's so like locked down on the planet. But I guess my question here with this movie is this movie is almost like a repeat of Alien. Like almost some of the scenes, like it's like scene by scene, it's almost the exact same thing, or they tease something up and then they change it just a little bit. And I'm sure they do it for the yous of the world that like love Alien and is like, oh, that's like a tie back. But it wasn't even like a tie back. They just stole it and like redid it. You know what
bitch,
I mean? Like
die, you bitch, and
like
it was a bunch of member berries. Yeah, it was a very much. See, they set this movie up, and I thought they were going to go down this path. I was like, this is going to be good. Andy is the new cyborg, and Andy has a damaged Weyland Yutani cyborg, and it was thrown out. And our main character Rain had found him. Or her dad had found him and repaired him, but he was like mentally deficient, like the like a baby almost, like it wasn't running on all of its cylinders, I guess. And then midway through the movie, they threw a different chip in there, which upgraded him, and now he was part of the company again. But then they reverted back from that real quick, and she fixed him. And I was like,
no, it wasn't real quick. It was honestly
20 minutes.
No, it was. Honestly, it's like an hour later. It's
maybe
it's well into the third act, but
that should have been the central villain of this movie, because you can't just let it be the alien's a killing machine, so you can't always be in the present. But the threat of Andy after being a brother figure to our main character Rain would have been so interesting. And that actor, we're going to get that in a minute, was so good at showing different personalities with the same speech. It was just really good.
No, I agree with you, and we'll get into that.
Yeah,
but I
got ahead of myself.
I do agree, like because they do such a very good job of that character, which I guess we are jumping into the next category a little bit, but they do a great job of that character building with the two of them. That if you would have switched that dynamic on its head, and the story would have
kept it there,
benefited from it. Well, I think you still could have went back.
No, I don't want to save him. I want it to be Aliens. There's a couple things. Aliens is Alien and Aliens, the franchise was started off to be. First, it's about male rape. That's what the original Alien is all about. The facesucker impregnating the man, all that stuff. That's what. And the second one, it was the threat of companies and the cyborgs following these things out, but not trust and all that type of stuff. And if they would have kept those themes, and they kind of kept the rape theme. I mean, when the suckers kept going on the face, they kept showing the phallical thing coming out of their mouth, which had that feeling to it. But they kind of got them, like the cyborg Andy and Rain were buddies again at the end, and I feel like they could have made him a much more dynamic character in the story, and they kind of played it safe.
Yeah, I think the other thing, and once again, it's on the character, but Rain, they do this in a lot of movies, especially with like the female, like last girl, if you will, or whatever. But they made her overly great at everything. And overly smart. And like we have like robots that are AIs from the future that can't figure certain things out, but she figures it out in like 15 seconds under immense pressure. And
we like to call those Mary Sues.
Mary Sue.
That's the actual term for someone that it's a female character that's great at everything. There's a male version too. It's like a Kevin Sue or something like that. But
I don't know. Like it's okay to not know things and for them to fail, like in a movie, because that's real life. And in this one, it is just like overly smart, overly clever, overly everything in every single scene. And then you start going, all right, like why do I care to watch the rest of this movie? I already know that she's gonna outsmart everything.
The best example of what you're talking about is they're in this hallway. The elevator's all the way to the top. It's not coming back down for them. The aliens there's like 10 of them that are coming down on them. Basically, they're dead. And she can't shoot them because it's going to unleash the acid. The acid's going to go through the bottom. And they're like, oh, no, I love you. What are we going to do? And then she's like, oh, yeah, we can turn off the gravity. And she turns off the gravity and shoots them all. And the acid just kind of floats in the space, except all the alien bodies went falling, but not the blood, which didn't make sense. But you get this tunnel of alien acid blood that they didn't know what to do with. So it just was she thought that so fast and figured out.
It's nonstop in every scene. And I'm she's a minor. You know what I mean? Like, and not a minor as in like young. A minor as in like that's what she does for a living. She works in the coal mines or whatever it is for it. Like, obviously she's a little smarter because it sounds like her family was smart or her dad was, really smart. But for her to be this uber genius, she should have been doing other things. Like, I don't know. It's just... They do this in a lot of movies.
They do. And I think Hollywood's kind of missed out on it's called the hero's journey. And the hero's journey is like you find out something about your life that sets you on this journey. Then you immensely fail at it. And then you have the redemption. And she just was like, good.
Yeah, there was no redemption. She's just amazing, just throughout, nonstop.
But let me see here. So, so we had Rain, who is our main girl, Andy, who is her brother figure. Everything was a lot of conveniences in this story too, which I thought everything just kind of worked out in a lot of different places. But then let's kind of drive towards the end, and they have a weird right-hand turn with that alien human hybrid thing at the end, and it felt like it was thrown in there to kind of give homage to Aliens 2, and she has to fight that big baddie at the end, and they just want to create something that's more creepy and yucky, and it just was, I don't know, it kind of devalued the aliens, which this movie is the name of. I didn't like it.
I mean,
like,
honestly,
the scene was tense, but it just like I didn't like the idea of it.
I do think this movie shines in the third act.
Yes,
but I did kind of like that, the normal aliens, right? Like they go through a different way. Like this one, the girl was like, still alive, like giving or she was already pregnant. I'm sorry. That's what the difference was. Usually they impregnate, the person has the alien baby or whatever it is. Now she was already pregnant. So there was already an adult, or not a baby fetus in there. So when the alien went into her,
it wasn't an alien that impregnated her. She took that black goo from
whatever it was,
and injected herself to try, because she was dying because she had got stabbed earlier, and
that's right.
And the alien didn't impregnate her because she was dying.
But I enjoyed that part of like, all right, that's a little something cool, but it looked all right. I
kind of enjoyed the whole movie as a whole. I kind of enjoyed. My frustrations were just kind of the safe. They take the safe direction on everything, and our main character is kind of a Mary Sue, and there's a lot of things you can kind of look past, but it wasn't very original, and like they didn't take any risks in this movie.
But so the director, Fede Alvarez,
is a good director.
I'm a huge fan of. He did the Evil Dead remake, which
fantastic,
is unbelievable. Don't Breathe, which I'm a huge fan of. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, I think he did that. Like, he's done some, like,
all three of those movies are very gritty, very down to earth, and they take risks. And I felt like he just tried.
To your point, your point, I felt like he literally was like, all right, what worked in Alien, I'm just gonna recoup. And I think the studio probably pushed him and said, you got to do some of this stuff.
For sure.
Kirk, What is your score here for Story Beats?
All right, so I was pretty hard on this. I said I was going to be hard on this, but I generally just enjoyed it. I'm not happy about the score, but I gave it a 5.
So ironically, same exact score.
Yeah.
But to me, it was just like I said, it's
a movie.
I appreciate a lot of the stuff that they did in the third act, but other than that, like, it's kind of just. It's average. You know what I mean? It's like, okay.
But the thing is, what makes me mad is I see good bones. I see good concepts. I see some thought processes happening in this movie. I'm like, man, if they would have just got a little risky, get off this convenience and the safe path, this movie could have been great or terrible, but they just went down the middle.
Yeah, we're talking maybe 3 scenes, that they could have flipped it just a little bit.
Isn't that crazy?
To really do it.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong.
But so that takes us to category 2, which we call the ARC, which stands for acting or relatability and character development. Put it together, it could also be the character arc. So there's a bunch of side characters here, and they do the normal trope, right?
Yeah.
They put the dickhead, the hero, the this, the that. But realistically,
the pregnant girl.
This comes down to Rain and Andy, kind of like what you discussed before. And I do want to talk. Dynamic. I didn't mind Rain's character, but I loved Andy. Andy really pulled on my heartstrings, especially at the beginning.
Yes.
And I was rooting for him so much. And that's why when you talk about if all of a sudden you take this lovable character that you're pulling for and you make him the villain, I think your brain would not know what to do with it, and it would be awesome. You know what I mean? Like it would have really changed the dynamic.
He so his name's David Johnson.
Yep.
Johnson. So he acts like a child almost at first. Where he's simple-minded, slow, very direct, and is kind of fearful, but always protective of Rain. Then he gets this upgrade into his system, and he suddenly becomes company, right? He is the Weyland-Yutani company.
And he's doing what's best for the company, not what's best for Rain anymore,
right.
He was originally programmed by her dad.
Right. His directive has changed. But it's the same delivery process, it is the same flat-faced, dry, but you can tell the personality. I don't know how the actor did it, but he took the same delivery method and made it just almost intimidating. Like you went from this guy that was kind of a little bit slow. He's got these like droopy eyes, so he kind of fits in that slow mentality, or he could just hold his face that way. I don't know. But then he's suddenly, and he doesn't look any different, but his body language changes and the way he's delivering his lines changes. And it's just so good how suddenly he's confident. He feels like he is the solution and he's working for the company. And I was like, that dude carried that movie, and he didn't have enough.
He's fantastic in it. Rain,
okay,
they really tried to make Rain Ripley. Like, you know what I mean? Like they tried to really she's an exact, like almost like Ripley replica with the exception of she's not a killing machine like
and she's
Ripley
like
was.
5'3" and Sigourney Weaver's like 6'1".
Well,
but...
yeah, obviously not like physically, but they try to make her out, and like I said, they make her too smart, but she's very good. Like the actress did a really good job. I don't have any.
She was fine. I mean, all of them were fine. I don't want to complain about any of them. But they've been trying, and if we go back, compare and contrast, they've been trying to replicate Sigourney Weaver for movie after movie after movie, and they just can't find that formula. And I feel like Hollywood doesn't understand what makes stardom anymore, and they can't find that formula to make another Sigourney Weaver to work. And they've done it with Prometheus Covenant, all the aliens versus predators, and nobody holds up to Sigourney Weaver. And this girl was fine. She was good. I think she was a pretty good actress. I mean, the guys were, one was mean, one was nice.
So there's a guy, Bjorn, he's a dick, and he stands out. He's very good at being a dick, but I don't care about him. Like, I don't care about him enough. The only thing is,
but you've seen that character. You've seen that character 1,000 times.
Well, to be honest with you, I like Andy, and he's a dick to Andy, and it makes me upset about that. But other than that, I don't care about him. And Tyler, who they try to make like the guy hero,
I don't care about him.
I literally had to look up his name, and then his sister is the pregnant girl, which I mean. fine. She does fine, but I don't care about her either.
I'll tell you one thing she did great, though. So I wrote this down. The pregnant girl, like you said, she's fine, whatever, her normal acting. But when she was like screaming,
her scream was amazing.
Amazing.
That scream was one of the best screams. I almost thought it was like a CGI scream. It was so good.
It was so good. Like, she's got a career in horror if she wants to keep going down that path. Most actresses don't want to go down that, but she has a fantastic scream. I'll tell you.
She's actually the most famous one of all of them.
Really?
Isabella Merced. Yeah, she's been in a lot of different things. She's also a singer, but she's good. Like, realistically, yeah, there was the Chinese girl, Navarro. I think she was Chinese. Like,
Asian
I could care less about her. Honestly, the third member of this is the Ian Holmes, the Ash character. He's the third star of this movie. I mean,
he was over a computer screen most of the time.
Yes, which that'll take us into our visual appeal here in a second.
We'll get to that in a minute. Yeah,
but I mean, that's where it is. So I guess, I mean, if rating this, I'll start here. I'm a 6. I was still a little bit above average on this because I thought the acting was fine by all of them. I really liked Andy. I thought Rain still did a good job. And I liked the character development that they did between Rain and Andy, and even Ash to an extent. Like, everything made sense of that. I could care less about all the other characters though. So I landed at a 6. Where do you fall?
I'm at a 5 again. I agree with almost everything you said. I thought Andy definitely held the bigger part, the best part of the acting, the relatability, the character development. You saw his character develop into this bad guy and then back into the good guy. And I just thought he was very, very well done, and they could have used him more. I don't think they used him enough. Rain was fine, whatever. Everybody else was just people, like no-name people.
They're fodder. They're
fodder. Yeah, they're bodies. So I ended up at a 5 only because if they would have like led with Andy so much more and made him the threat or the bad guy or the villain, and that would have pulled. Just think how you'd have felt watching that movie. You'd have fallen in love with him at the beginning, and then towards the end, he is not the bad guy. They're not bad. They're just doing their directives, and he is the adversary of your main characters. And it's like, oh, what? It just pulled, like you said, pulled your heartstrings. So, but anyways, I digress. I give it a 5. I think everything was just okay.
So that takes us to category 3, visual appeal. And what is that, Kurt?
Yeah, so a visual appeal is going to be your effects, visuals, cinematography counts in this one. Any type of gore, either CGI or practical effects, just anything that they throw up on the screen. Does it look good? Does it look bad? What are you thinking? So
what are you thinking?
Yeah, so what am I thinking? Should we let's go ahead and get the elephant out of the room first, right? So Ash from the original, who is the cyborg. It's Ian Holmes. I even said it in What's in the Box. He looked atrocious.
It just didn't work. It looked like it honestly looked like 10, 15 years ago when they were trying to like mimic somebody's mouth. AI's gotten so much better. Like, I don't understand why this looks the way it does.
The Abyss from 1989, I think 89 was it? The Abyss from 1989 looked far superior to this, and they did face mapping on that movie. But the visual appeal of it pulled you out of the movie so flippin' fast every time he is on the screen. Every time. The other ones, there was some bad CGI in this, but there's a lot of good CGI on it. But the other bad CGI, the alien blood, like I talked about earlier, that she shot everybody in 0 Gs and it's floating around, looked really bad. And there's some crash scenes and explosions that were, just obvious CGI. But for the most part, if we look outside of that, I thought the alien looked really good. I thought the ship looked really good. Space, that ring around the planet they're crashing into. I thought all that looked very, very good.
Here's my problem. I agree with you on everything you just said, which I shouldn't, but I do. It all looked good, but it all looked like it did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Like, it didn't,
raging backwards in CGI for sure.
It was almost like the story where like the story didn't advance anything to me. I'm like, when they're showing space, I'm like, oh, that looked okay. Like, it looks like norm. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't feel like anything was different. Anything. And here's one trick that they did in every scene of this movie. And it really, once I caught on to it, it just started annoying me because I'd go, what is it next?
I hate when that happens.
So in every scene, everything is gray and black. except one pop color that they would have. So in one scene, it's a red flashing light. Yeah. Then you go into another scene, it's that like fluorescent blue water. Then you go to another scene and it's like this orange, like fluorescent background. Like literally every scene is all black and gray with one color that pops. And every single one. And at first I was like, oh, that's cool. And then by the fifth one, I'm like, all right, what's the next color going to be?
So,
we're back to red. Okay.
You're 100% right, but that is a Fede Alvarez thing. Look at Evil Dead.
Okay, well.
He does maybe. That. It works better than that. The blood, remember the blood raining down? It's the one. That is his like directorial. It's just sticking out to you.
In scenes.
Yes.
It doesn't work in every scene, I
agree.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I agree. There's some definite good here, and you could tell the beauty of what they're putting together, but there's some definite bad here, and there's some redundancy of tension, and I think that's what you're bringing up.
Well, I would also say the baby aliens at a certain point, like some of them kind of look funny.
It's funny talking about Spaceballs. So when the first chest burster. So what's the girl's name? The Asian girl,
Navarro.
Navarro. She's having a thing burst through, and the original movie. It takes like several days for this thing to impregnate and then fertilize and hatch. This happens in like 10 minutes, and it didn't even stay on her face the whole time. If that. Yeah. So we're changing the lore, but anyways. It busts through his chest, and when it pops its head out, I feel like it's going to start saying, "Hello, my darling. Hello, my baby."
It's just exactly. It was just it was so funny, and it's like, oh, look how cute that little thing. You know what I mean? Like, but I honestly laughed during it. I was like, oh, look at that. Oh, it's so cute.
But did you see? I did appreciate that they did kind of go back to the. There were parts of it and they didn't dive into deep enough into it. The original one was very, very much sexual imagery, for better or worse, but it's kind of a negative sexual energy. Like the big alien, when it's stuck up on the wall, kind of looks like a female body part. We won't get into what it is. The alien looks like a male body part, and it's just something coming out of the mouth. It's all very, very sexual and all that, but they just kind of like showed it, but not leaned into it, which I wish they would have leaned into it more, because it just makes you feel uncomfortable. And I think that's the point of the Aliens franchise.
I will say the big alien, when it hatches, I thought that looked super cool.
When
it
like
felt practical,
forming its fingers. And all that stuff,
and it's like coming at like
cool.
where she. Or was it he shocks it or whatever? Shocks it.
Yeah, that's
and then
the good guy.
The acid comes out, and then the all that. Like no, it was the dick. It was Bjorn that did it.
Bjorn.
But when it like hatches afterwards, I was like, oh, that's super cool, and you could tell it's practical, it's slimy, it's good. And then I really didn't know what was practical after that, but I did like that scene.
Yeah.
I definitely.
There were several things that looked pretty good. The Facehuggers looked pretty good until they started running. Then it looked like a rubber doll pulled a string, and it just kind of drug itself. But
where do you land here on visual appeal?
Yeah, so there's definite points taken away from certain things on this. That being said, I thought the cinematography looked good. I think Fede Alvarez does a good job of showing space, and I mean like surrounding space, not like outer space, and feel of distance and all that. So I appreciate a lot of. We're pointing out a lot of the negatives, but I'm saying all that. I was slightly above average. I gave it a 6 because I thought there was a lot of money poured into the practicals. It just some things didn't get enough money, so this should have been like a 7 or 8 with some of the things they did. They just didn't get there.
Yeah, I'm a 5 here, and
it's not a bad score.
For a lot of the same reasons. Like I said, I've seen this movie
a
bunch of times. I've seen this this imagery a bunch of times. Yeah. I didn't do anything different to me. So, and it's not a bad thing. Like I'm not, but I'm not going to award it, and be like, oh, this is so much above average. It's not. It's just I've seen this before. It's average now.
I just thought some of the scenes of that big ship crashing into that belt around the planet, I thought that was cool. Or when they lift it off and he's doing the cigarette trick. or you see the sunset behind it, and then the shade comes over because the big orbital planet or the orbital base. There's just a lot of cool things.
There's a bunch of cool things in there. I don't disagree. It's just, but I've seen a lot of these cool things.
I'm probably actually a 5.6. I just rounded up, so and
I'm probably a 5.4. You know what I mean? Like we're that
right
close,
there.
I think on this, which takes us to category number 4, which is what we like to call the movie driver. And this is basically what are the genres and stereotypes of the movie, and did it hit it, right? So for this one, I believe you said horror sci-fi. I had horror sci-fi thriller.
I had horror sci-fi adventure is what I had.
Okay, so when we look at those, did they hit those things? So if it's a action movie where the fighting sequences and everything, right? Like that's what we judge this on. So when we get to like the driver, obviously I think this knocks sci-fi out the ballpark, right? You have an alien.
I'll push back a little bit.
I think it hits sci-fi out the ballpark.
All right, so let's test that water. So sci-fi brings you into a new world, new elements, just kind of changes. You got to learn the world. If this would have been on Earth, what would have changed in the movie?
I guess I don't even understand the question.
Like what made it like, yes, it was on a different planet, but did that matter? Was that relevant? Was any of
but that's not the sci-fi part of it to me. The sci-fi part of it to me is when they literally go to space, right? Yeah. And now we're on a spaceship. Would that have worked? Would that have worked if it was a barn?
Maybe.
Yeah, if they're on an alien planet, I guess. But outside of that, no. Like the space works because you have the gravity, the anti-gravity. You have this alien. You're on this ship that is, there's a reason that these aliens are there.
My pushback is with sci-fi, I'm a big world builder. I love to see the worlds that they're building. And I just don't feel like it felt like Earth when we were on that planet, a little grimier because it was a mining colony.
Yeah, but that's the first 10 minutes of the movie, of a 2-hour movie.
And then we went on a ship that could have been just, I don't know. I was just underwhelmed by the sci-fi, man. I'm a bigger sci-fi fan than you are, but it definitely is in space. It is definitely gravity comes into play. There's definitely those elements, but I just found them kind of weak.
I felt the sci-fi was good. I feel where it falls short is the horror.
Oh, for sure.
I don't understand.
This is almost not a horror movie.
It's almost not a horror movie. And once again, Romulus is just like Alien. So take it for what it's worth. But
Alien is a horror movie. But we always argue about this one. So Alien, the aliens in this movie, the xenomorphs and the facehuggers, they're more of a hurdle in this movie than the actual adversaries. Like they're just trying to get past those things to get to their other ship. And then you have this big 7-foot tall monstrosity hybrid thing, but that's just like a throw in at the end. That doesn't really count.
That's definitely a throw in.
Yeah, the villains on this movie are two things. One is time, because they don't have any time. The big space station's crashing. And two, the company, because the company is in their way on the planet. And
I think the company's the villain. Like they're trying to get that stuff to them, and they'll sacrifice their lives, anything to ensure that capsule or whatever it is good. The aliens, honestly, they're in the aliens' home. It's not like it's like the aliens didn't attack them. If you go back to the original Alien, they were minding their business. Like somebody else took them onto that ship. But I mean, the horror part of this, like
you could,
I guess, a couple things pumping through chests and stomachs and the birth, but like nothing's really horrific. No.
But here's the thing, like again, they took the safe path. They teased. And it's part of what Andy did. This is when I started going, hey, this Andy's guy's got it. It's when that girl, the pregnant girl, is in the room. She's behind the door. Andy, the nice guy, and Rain are on the other side of the door. Andy can open the door, but he looks through the window and sees the alien above stalking her. And I'm like, that's cool. Like they're ahead of it. That thing's going to be stalking them the whole way through. And they kind of went away from that and went to this like chasing montage thing where that alien got shot in the face and it was done. Like I thought that alien was going to be a bigger part of the story of like this looming threat overhead, and it turned into more of hurdles than it did like a hunting, preying like monster. It just wasn't there.
So what'd you think of adventure
Adventure
since you have that. And I mean, it feels like an action adventure, you know, especially that third act where they're running around and being chased. I can definitely see that. Not in the first a lot of thirds of the movie, though.
I mean, the tension part or the adventure part or the action part, I thought was the best part of the movie. Because it was kind of a race, and you're having to get through these hurdles, and at the first watch, you know, you don't know if Andy's going to flip, and then he does, and it's just, I felt like there was a lot of things they had to get to that was kind of stressful, and it kind of stressed me out, which I enjoyed the adventure part at the end, like the third act. Like you said.
Yeah, like you said, the third act is good. I think it's very good when it gets to a thriller for that. But once again, this movie's 2 hours long. The third act is 30 minutes. So we're talking about the final 30 minutes. And it doesn't mean the first hour and a half sucked. It doesn't. It's just, I wish there was a little bit more in through the rest of it. But with that said, when we get to Movie Driver, I'm probably a little bit higher than you here, but I'm a 7. I mean, I still think that for the most part, I think, like I said, the thriller adventure part of it, I think it did just fine with. I thought it knocked sci-fi out the ballpark. I take points off for the horror elements of this movie, as they're not there for me.
Yeah, I mean, we're close to the same. I don't agree with you on the sci-fi part. I think there's far better sci-fi-ish type movies that set up the worlds a little better. So I deducted, you know, would you give it a 7? So I guess 3. I'm at a 4. I'm slightly below average because it missed on 2 of the 3 for me, right? So I like the adventure. I thought the horror was weak, and I thought the sci-fi was weak.
All right. Well, I wasn't expecting you to be there, but I don't fault you either, I guess, on it. But so that takes us to our last category for the evening, which is a lasting impression. What is that? Yeah,
lasting impression is 2 main things, really. So when you either hit stop or turn your TV off, or you're walking out of the theater, how did this movie make you feel? And what was racing through your mind? What were you thinking about? And then the other main element of this is kind of the rewatchability. Do you want to dive back into it? Do you want to watch up YouTube videos to explain about this movie? Do you want to kind of dive deep into this world? Those 2 things. And, you know, I'll kind of go, bringing into this, we said it earlier at the very beginning of this, I didn't really know what to expect of this movie. I know it's gotten good kind of reviews. I had kind of low expectations because the Alien franchise is hit or miss, a lot more misses than hits, for sure. And I kind of went in with low expectations, and it hit basically those low expectations. It like, I enjoyed the movie. Like, we're being very negative. I enjoyed the movie. I thought there's a lot of meat on the bones.
Yeah, when I look at, so when the movie first ended, I go, I mean, I've seen worse movies. I was like, yeah, it's all right. Like it's a movie that I would recommend to people. I'd be like, yeah, go ahead and watch it. Like, especially if you're a sci-fi fan, I think like, hey, you've probably already seen it. I would say for me, the rewatchability on it, not very high at all.
Very low.
I could see one day if I sat down and said, all right, I'm going to put on all the Aliens, you know, over the course of a month or a couple weeks, and I'm going to watch all the Aliens. Okay, I could end with this, but I need at least probably 2 years in between watching this, if that makes sense. So
I mean, if I was rating this movie directly off just movie quality, and I wasn't deducting our little point scale, like it might be the 3rd best Alien movie. Like it's getting back on track on a lot of different things. That being said, it is a very safe movie. I think Prometheus is a lesser movie, but it takes bigger swings, and I appreciate that. Like, I'm more apt to go watch Prometheus again, and I think Prometheus is not as good a movie as this one. I like the artistic swings and the sci-fi adventure of that one, because it builds out this big world, and I just don't feel like I got this on those movies. So the rewatchability is extreme low for me. But how I felt leaving the movie, I was like, all right, that's a movie. It was enjoyable. I didn't hate anything about this movie. There was no hate about it. It's just, I've been here, done that.
But I think you look at things and, especially on a 0 to 10 scale, right? Yeah. Like if it's an average movie, the average doesn't mean bad, but that's a 5, right? Like an average score is a 5. The most amazing movie of all time is a 10, right? The worst movie of all time is a 0, right? Like that's a scoring system, and obviously things fall in between there, though. But like average doesn't mean it's bad. It just means like, okay, like I got kind of what I was looking for, but not a whole lot more, but nothing less either, you know? So
I'm glad I didn't go to the theater. I'm glad I watched it for free on some ripoff site. You know what I mean? Like, I
know what you're talking about. We paid for everything.
If I would have spent $3-4 from it, I would have been cool with that because it was an interesting enough movie.
I would not have been excited. And, you know, maybe this is better in the theater on a larger screen, immersed, you know, but I don't think it's much better. And I don't think it's worth paying $15-20 to go see it, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure.
But so what do you give the lasting impressions?
Yeah, I mean, there's only 2 major categories on this one. So if one's really bad, it kind of hurts it. I gave this a 3. I have zero interest in watching this again. And it was just okay. It was good. Like I felt pretty good watching, you know, about a 5 if it was the one section of how I felt leaving it. But then the rewatchability really hurts it.
I mean, you're making me think I love this movie, but I was a 5 here. Once again, it was average. Like I go rewatchability, I'm not really going to watch it, but lasting impression was meh. Honestly, now that I think about it, I'm probably a little too high, I think here.
Well, I feel like you're scoring lasting impression, at least on this one, as if the movie as a whole, like, you know what I mean? Like as a whole, this movie's probably about a 5, right? And I think both of our scores are going to be relatively close to that. I haven't done the math on them. But it's just kind of an okay, good movie.
Well, I have done the math on it now. So we'll start with you. You have the lowest score here. You are a 23 out of 50, which equals a 4.6, so slightly below average.
Yep.
I think you were thinking a 5 or a 5.5 last
That's
week.
what I said,
think is where you were.
Which, I mean, lasting impression is what really kind of flushed it down.
Well, that and Movie Driver, a 4 there.
It's a 4. That's right there at 5. I mean, I put a 6 of visual appeal, so I mean, those average out to a 5.
But so I guess so. But for me, I was a 28 out of 50, so I'm a 5.6. So I'm about I'm a full point higher than you on it. I said 5.5 last week, so I'm pretty much right at where I was. But I will also caution, sci-fi is not my forte. Mm-hmm. So a 5.6 is probably a decent score for me, you know, in something like this.
And if you take our scores and average them together, that's a 5.1. So right at average
we're yeah, right in the middle. Right in the middle. It's average.
Right at average movie.
Like I said, if somebody said, "Hey, was it good?" I'd say it's not a bad movie. Like go ahead and watch it. Like it doesn't really advance any narrative for me. So it's just it's a movie.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem of doing a movie in between Alien and Aliens is you can't really change anything. It has to kind of end the same way it begins because
you know how
you already know what's going on.
You know where the other one picks up from.
Right. So you're kind of stuck
I'm 100% in it. With you. Yeah. Well, listen, that is Alien Romulus. That ends episode 5 of Movies at 7. We appreciate you tuning in. Love to know your thoughts on what you thought of this movie. Very curious. I think this could be a very polarizing movie of, you know, just with the existing fan base of, like, we talked about Star Wars earlier. Alien has that cult following as well in this movie.
And the original Alien, I'm a massive fan of. And Aliens, I think it's a great movie. Alien, I think, is better than Aliens, but they're both excellent movies.
So, Kirk, we are going to turn our attention to next week. And what is the movie that is next up for us at 7?
I don't know, man. Like, we've got to find something with some substance. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean,
maybe The Substance.
Maybe The Substance, yes. So this is a movie that just hit streaming this week, just leaving the theaters. Demi Moore's in it. So The Substance is what is up next. So this is everybody's 7-day warning to go watch the movie so that you can rate and review with us next week. And As always, if you have Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review, a little bit of a rating. It goes a long way. We're available on all your social media platforms. For the most part, just search Movies at 7, and you can connect with us in a multitude of ways. And until next time, we'll see you at the movies.